for anyone that's missing, we have a lot of people that have been getting sick, so just a reminder to take care of yourself and stay home if you're not feeling well, and always check the YouTube channel for the class if you do miss. So since we haven't met in 2 weeks with our conferences, I wanted to start and see if you all have any questions that I didn't answer for you in our individual meetings, or things that came up. Any questions from the reading that was due today? All right, well, we'll dive into it. We'll be talking about style today, and we'll do a little bit of free writing. So if you all have something to write with. So your book was talking about voice as an important element of style. Voice is going to be something that comes from, your background, your experiences, who you are, but it's also something to consider for your audience in the way that you shape your voice, the way you use your voice to get your point across. So one element is perspective, and you all have probably heard point of view before, hopefully. But I want to think about what these 3 different points of view do for a piece of writing. So specifically, we're going to be looking at 3 opening sentences from Kentucky writers. This first one is from a professor here, Eric Rees, and this is his article, Why We Should All Root for Kentucky. It was published in the Wall Street Journal. Does someone want to volunteer to read this first sentence out loud? This is the first sentence of his article. Yeah, Jack.
Where I live, April really is the cruelest month because it means the end of the Kentucky basketball season.
All right, so how is this, first of all, what point of view is this in? First, yeah. How do you know it's in first?
I.
Yeah, great. So the pronoun I is used in first person point of view. What does it do for the article? So say this is an article about Kentucky basketball. How is it different than other sports articles you've read? What changes with it being in first person point of view? Yeah, Ava.
Wait, what was the question again?
So I want to compare this just to different articles that you may have seen about sportscasters talking, and just talk about any way that it being in first person point of view, the mood it gives the article, what it allows the writer to do. How does it help him establish his credibility? What is the personality of this writer? Kind of any of those questions. Yeah,
Well,
Sarah.
it kind of just gives you information on the writer that tells you where they live and like what they care about.
Very.
It says like where I live and also like it says like the coolest month, which means they really care about Kentucky basketball.
Yeah, really good. So he establishes that he is a Kentuckian. You know that this person writing about Kentucky basketball lives here. They're going to have kind of a vested interest that might be different than a more neutral sportscaster or something. Yeah, Ava.
I was just gonna say, I feel like it, like with it being first person, it adds more like experience and like sense of being from the actual person. It like gains more like type of experience.
Good. It's more personal, right?
Personal,
Yeah,
yes.
very nice. Anything else with this sentence? I know it's just one sentence, so, but anything else different? He's making a joke, right? So it's allowing him to kind of have his sense of humor come through. Anything else? All right, so this one, this is a little different. Erica J. Simpson, she's from the MFA program. She works at HBO now. She's writing an adaptation of The Vanishing Half. Her essay was published in the American Best Essays in 2022, which caused her essay to go up for auction, and she sold it. She's turning it into a memoir now. Does anyone want to volunteer? This is the first sentence from her American Best Essay. Does anyone want to volunteer to read this? Jack read our last one. Anyone else? Yeah, Joe, thank you.
If you ever find yourself piss poor and struggling to survive in a world obsessed with money, I'll teach you what I have learned, what I have to know from birth, what I've had to know from birth.
Good. So what point of view is this in? Not first. Yeah.
Is this third?
Not third.
Oh, okay, 1 second.
Yeah, second. So how do we know it's second? Yeah, Jack.
It says
You. Yep. So this is different. This essay is about Erica's experience growing up poor and black in a racist capitalist society. So she wrote it in second person, which is pretty different for an essay. But I want to talk about what this does for the essay. This using second person, addressing the reader as you. What does this read like? What does this tell you about the author, etc.? Yeah, Maddie.
The author's relating their struggle to hers, or like putting both of their experiences together, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, the second person can put, kind of make your reader a character in your essay. It can make your reader have the, you can give them an experience. So she's saying, if you find yourself piss poor and struggling, so all of a sudden, that's you're sharing the experience the author had themselves. Good. So does this read, I would say it reads like a set of instructions, right? She's giving you an instruction on how to live this experience. So think about, we'll practice all of these points of view, but second person can be a really interesting one if you're gonna like do a day in life, you know. Jack is writing about bodybuilding, Gerard's writing about college athletes, not to put you guys on the spot, but an introduction for your essay, if you wanted to do something creative, do something a little different, you could do, you know, you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you eat scrambled egg whites and ground turkey, you can make your reader kind of go through that difficult day that is a bodybuilder's strict diet and regimen, or a college athlete too. All right, so this is from Rayleigh Deaton. I got this from the Kentucky Colonel recent article about the wildfires over in Irvine. Does someone want to read this sentence for us? Ava, thank you.
Wildfires in Still County have created a haze and smell of smoke in Fayette County as wind pushes the smoke to the western part of the state.
Great. And what point of view is this? Anyone who hasn't shared yet, there's only one left. Third, thank you. So what is different about the third person point of view, comparing it to the other two? What does this article sound like? Yeah, Lauren.
It's not personal, like the other
Yeah, exactly. It's really objective. It's just kind of stating the facts. Right, so yeah, these are all three equally. There's no one is better than the other all the time. Choosing what point of view to use for your essay, or even just the introduction to your essay. You might start in first point of view and talk about your personal experience, your personal connection to your topic, and then switch into third person point of view. You just want to think about the intention behind using the point of view. In your rubrics that I put up for your final project, I said that you want to have a consistent tense and a consistent point of view unless there's a reason to change. So think about everything we talked about, but I'm going to sum it up to these three kind of easy ways to remember point of view. And that is first person being personal. I messed this up. Second person is supposed to be conversational. I'm sorry, you all. And third person is objective. So first person personal, second person conversational, third person objective. So think about how you want your introduction to sound, how you want each body paragraph of your paper to sound, what your intention is there. So if you switch from first person to third person or second person to third person, I just want to see there being a reason to do that. And like the examples we talked about, starting with like a personal story and then moving into facts, that's a good reason to switch into third person. Do you all have any questions about this? All right. So what I want us to do is, so on Friday, the first 250 words of your paper are due as like your final short writing assignment. So we're gonna work a little on that today. And I want you all, I'm gonna give you like 7 minutes or so to do a little writing, but we're gonna do it 3 times. So I want you to write 3 different openings to your paper. Just like the first sentence or 2, and I want you to just try each point of view. Maybe you're certain, I'm gonna write everything in third person point of view, I'm gonna be very factual, but just try to write these other 2 openings, because then I want you all to be able to take those, see how they all sound, and then you can choose which one you think works best for your paper. In our conferences, I heard over and over again that people were I just have to start, or getting started is the hardest part. And I totally understand and agree with you all. So please use this time to at least write 1 sentence from each, and then you'll at least have somewhere to branch off of. And you might end up choosing to write a second person introduction that maybe you weren't thinking about before. So I will start with the first person, and I will turn on a little bit of music for you guys. I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes. Write at least your first sentence. If you finish your first sentence, just write as much as you can for 5 minutes, because you'll maybe be able to use that later. This first person could be either, if you're writing about a community you're a member of, you can write about your own experience as a member of that community. If you're writing about a community that you're just researching but you're not a member of, then maybe think about what drew you to writing about that community, why you were interested in them, for this first person kind of personal opening.
So whenever we're doing this, do we have to get the paper and the multimedia project done before the presentation?
You don't have to. We can talk about that after this, because we'll make it clear for everyone.
I mean,
Right, about 1 minute left. All right. So, I'd love to hear one of these. Does anybody who hasn't shared yet and wants to get their participation points for the day want to read theirs out loud? Understanding you just wrote this in 5 minutes, so no pressure for it to be the most amazing thing we've ever heard. Okay, anybody at all? Even those, yeah, Sarah, thank you. So Sarah, you're writing about Peloton community, right? Good.
I never imagined I would find a community that I was so passionate about and that truly changed my life for the better. I know for myself as well as millions of other people around the world, Peloton has given me an outlet and has helped me be the best and healthiest version of myself.
Nice, thank you. Anybody have any comments on like what's working about Sarah's opening sentence, potential opening sentence? I love that from the beginning of the paper, we know why she's interested in writing about this community, that she's a part of the community, and what the community has done for her. Very nicely done. Does anyone else want to share? All right. So let's do the same thing. I want you all to try a second person point of view. So using the you. We'll take another 5 minutes for that. Do you all have any questions about second person point of view before we get started? All right, so I'll do another 5-minute timer. And I'll put on music again. Help you focus. right, just a minute left. I don't know why I didn't do that last time. All right. Okay. Now I can't stop it. There we go. All right. I'd love to hear another example. Again, no pressure. We're just practicing here. Anybody who hasn't gotten their participation points of the day want to read theirs out loud? We'll give you the first chance as a volunteer. Yeah, Sam, thank you.
I had, if you're looking for a fun way to spend time with your friends or family, Dungeons and Dragons is a great way to do that. At its core, it's a game that's all about having communication and teamwork between you and your fellow players in order to succeed, and that's all I have.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you for sharing. So Sam's writing about Dungeons and Dragons community. Anybody have any comments on the way second person is working for this opening? Yeah,
You
Jack.
can start with a question.
Start with a question. Yeah, so and I like how yeah, the way you frame it. Can you say just the first part again?
It was like if you're looking for a fun way to kind of spend time with friends or family and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, who isn't? So definitely makes you want to keep reading and learn more about how the game is going to do that for you. Very nice. Thank you. All right, so we'll do one more round, and then you all will have 3 beginnings to choose from for your homework on Friday. So we're going to do good old third person point of view. I will set the timer for 5 minutes again. Just 1 minute left. All right. Well, you all probably know what I'm going to ask. Does anyone want to share their third person opening sentence? Love Jack. Anyone? Lauren? Lauren, let's go.
The American
Sorry.
Red Cross is an organization that focuses on helping people in need. Their goal is to make sure that thousands of families across America are cared for in weather disasters, food shortages, shelter, and more.
Great. Lauren's writing about the American Red Cross. How's this work as an opening for her essay? It's informative, lets us know the Red Cross's goal. Totally works. Jack, do you want to share yours too?
Yeah, I can.
Great.
I said Rich Piana is one of the world's most popular bodybuilders, and many young people look up to him. Then he died of significant heart disease due to steroids. Because for me, I'm talking about the negatives more.
Yeah, nice. How's that working? Focusing in on one kind of famous bodybuilder who died from steroids. Lets us really know what Jack's paper is going to be about from the start and what issue he's kind of grappling with. Awesome. So, let's talk about this quickly. So, these are the 4 principles of syntax found in this chapter of your all's book. So we'll do, once we get some of your paper written, we'll do kind of a guided revision next Monday. And these are really great rules for cleaning up your sentences. I still struggle with this a lot, and I've been writing a long time. On the next slide, I have one of my sentences that my editor quickly fixed, so we can look at what's wrong with that and try to make it better. But keep these ideas in mind. Again, when you're writing, once you're getting a first draft out, I think it's, at least my writing process, when I'm writing a first draft, I just get everything I want to say on the page. I don't worry too much about these rules and every sentence being perfect. But then when I'm revising, something I really like to do is literally get on my computer. It's even better if you can print out your paper, read it out loud, and if something sounds clunky, I'll highlight or underline it if it just sounds awkward. And then I'll go back in, I'll think of these rules and try to get those sentences clearer. So 1, English speakers prefer simple, concrete subjects. So, what was the bodybuilder's name again?
Rich Piana.
Rich Piana, a subject like that. Simple, concrete. English has simpler verb forms than other languages, so use the simplest language necessary to get your point across. My editor for my job, like if I write the word utilize, he'll just change it to use automatically. I don't even bother. So think about simple verbs and, varying your verbs and really thinking of which verb fits the action you're trying to demonstrate best. Subjects and verbs should be placed close together and occasionally separated by modifying phrases and clause. So a good sentence model is just subject, verb, and then the body of the sentence. As this says, English sentences usually branch to the right toward the end of the sentence. Simplest and most concrete elements of the sentences should be toward the beginning, while complex modifiers should be at the end. So, this is a sentence I wrote that was not as clear as it could be. There is one thing glass and aluminum have in common. They are both difficult to find. So I was writing a blog about glass and aluminum shortage. How can I make this sentence better? Anyone have ideas of a better way to say this?
Would you just say glass and aluminum are difficult to find?
That's it. Glass and aluminum, subject, are, verb, difficult to find. I don't need all. You almost never need to start a sentence with there is. That's another thing you can look for when you're editing yourself. There is one thing can go. Glass and aluminum are both difficult to find. So here is my subject, and my verb is all the way here. Great job, Jack. All right, so your annotated bibliography is due tonight by midnight. Your last short writing assignment is due on Friday. You should write the first 250 words of your paper. So use what you have today, get it up to 250 words, submit that to Canvas by midnight. And then on Monday, you're turning in the first 500 words of your paper. So once you write, you're not rewriting anything, just add to what you have. But your 500 words, it's not due at midnight on Monday, it's due at class time, because we're gonna revise you guys, it's gonna be a working period. I'm gonna lead you through some questions to kind of tighten that up, and guide you through a revision process that you can use on your whole paper. Jack had a great question. Your paper and your media project, we went over this in conferences, but it bears repeating, that your media project and your paper aren't technically due until finals week, December 12th. No late work. I'm not gonna take any work past December 12th just because I won't be able to grade it if I do. So I'm encouraging all of you to give yourself the deadline of November 28th. Finish your paper in your media project. So for your presentation, you can share that with the class, and then you can be finished with the class pretty much, besides watching presentations. And then if something comes up and you need to turn it in late, the real deadline isn't for 2 more weeks. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, the rubric's up on Canvas. We'll go over it in depth this week, but feel free to take a look at that, and you all have a great day. Thank you so much.
I have a couple of questions. You
Yeah.
said, I would probably do the first person in the beginning and mostly throughout the essay, and then once I get to the facts, I'll do the third person.
Yeah.
So that's right.
Yeah.
Could I say for first person, could I say me as a public building community? Am I allowed to say something?
Yeah.
Okay. For my introduction, should I do my friend's personal point of view first and how he does it, or could I do if I was preparing for a competition and then towards the end I could talk about me? So.
Yeah, you could do it either way. Yeah, just think about what, and revising can be trying different things and seeing what works best.
If I was doing it visualizing myself, and then I could do it exactly how he does it with me, and him would probably do it a little bit different. Because I've definitely prefer or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I recorded